future of sustainability, I think we need to get sort of a picture and a handle on what's going on in our world today. As Kofi Annan so aptly put it, human activity is putting such a strain on the natural functions of Earth that the ability of the planet's ecosystems to sustain future generations can no longer be taken for granted. I think we need to face the fact that we are drastically altering the face of our Earth and all of our ecosystem processes. Just since the end of World War II, humans have used up as much of the Earth's resources as all previous generations combined. And though we're only 5% of the world's population here in the United States, we're using about 30% of the world's resources and producing about 26% of the world's carbon emissions. This is even more alarming when you begin to take a look at population growth and realize that just since my mother was born in 1950, our population has doubled. And it's predicted to rise again to almost 10 billion people by the year 2050. And as you can see from this graph, the majority of that growth is in developing nations, which haven't even begun to really extract resources at the rates that we are, but are looking to us as a model. So sustainability isn't just environmentalism reinvented, but it's actually about sustaining or keeping in existence human populations on this earth and balancing the constraints of our environmental systems with human existence over the long term. The oft-quoted Brundtland definition is to ensure that humanity meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. And the World Academies of Science define sustainability as meeting human needs while preserving the Earth's life support systems and reducing hunger and poverty. Ultimately, sustainability is about finding that sweet spot or that balance between societal well-being, economic prosperity, and environmental protection. But I think what we need to remember is that sustainability is a moving target. It's constantly evolving, and what sustainability looks like today is not what it looks like tomorrow. And we need to remember that we need to be humble, and we need to be constantly adapting and reassessing our definition of sustainability, what we mean by sustainability, as we look to science for the best data available, and as our values are changing and our society is continuing to grow. So I couldn't help but throw up a picture of my daughter today. In talking about the future of sustainability, I started to think about her and what her future would look like and what education would necessarily provide for her. And the reality is that the biggest generation on our planet is here. 1.2 billion people are between the ages of 1 and 19. And this is their future that we have a responsibility to. Sustainability of our society essentially relies on them making the right decisions for the future. And higher education is going to play a leading role in training the policy leaders, the political leaders, and the business leaders of tomorrow, and helping them to make the right decisions and to be able to think critically about the problems of today. Nora will graduate in 2030. We will not know what the world looks like when she graduates, but we can begin to get a sense of what it may look like and what we may look forward to as we look at the actors and we look at the trends of today. Government, business, and the citizens are all key in helping us to achieve a sustainable society. We all must work together to create an environment, an economy, and a society that will support us in the future. And I believe that education is the platform or the foundation that will facilitate this move towards sustainability in the future and provide the information and the science and the data upon which we will make those decisions and move forward. There are a lot of national trends we can look to begin to see how sustainability is moving forward in our society. Government is stepping up to the plate. Local governments are developing coalitions like ICLEI or Sustainability in Local Government. They have signed or they've created a mayor's climate protection agreement, which has over 500 signatories already. And regionally, they're developing partnerships for voluntary cap-and-trade systems and other programs to protect eco-mobility, water conservation, and climate change. And nationally, we're seeing our administration really step up to the plate. They have committed over $150 billion over the next 10 years to a clean energy future and sustainability. Community is also finding its voice, and we're seeing them begin to address the issues of transportation, water, climate change, and diversity through faith-based organizations, our educational resources, and our youth-based organizations. And of course, our probably biggest driver and our biggest call, if you will, from Education for Sustainability is from the business community. They're developing lots of coalitions for building internal capacity around sustainability and the triple bottom line, and also throwing huge amounts of money and resources into the economic growth of sustainability. In 2007 alone, $75 billion was invested in sustainable technologies, and investment in research and development from some of the largest corporations like BP, Goldman Sachs, and DuPont reached almost $9.8 billion. Jobs, of course, in this sector, or in sustainability, is probably the fastest growing job market and will be the job market of the future. And the U.S. renewables industry alone created over 386,000 jobs in 2007, and worldwide we're looking at 2.3 million jobs. So I think higher education is looking at this and realizing that every sector across sustainability or across the nation is sort of creating a new business as usual, if you will, and training those who will, and we are responsible for training those who will lead this transformation, which is why higher education needs to incorporate sustainability into everything that it does, from how and what we teach and what we research, to how we govern and make decisions, to how we respond to the challenges of the larger community that we're a part of. I really like this proverb. I think it really touches the heart of what we mean. Tell me and I'll forget, show me and I may remember, but involve me and I'll understand. And I think this is the heart of what we need to do for education. Curriculum in student life is probably the heart. It's the heart and soul of what is the mission of higher education, and I think it's the heart and soul where we need to look when we begin to address the future of sustainability in higher ed. Students learn values and practices through experience, and we need to make sure that we're focusing on connecting students with what they learn in the classroom to what they're experiencing in their day-to-day lives. It's widely known that for long-term retention of knowledge, we retain only about 20% of what we read and what we read and what we hear, and 80% of what we do, which is why I think we need to focus hard on real-world problem solving and experiential inquiry-based learning, both on campus and in the larger community. I also think that interdisciplinary systems thinking and critical thinking are key parts of a sustainable future, and we need to make sure that our students are getting this across their education